Say no. Hey, hey, oh. Yes, lads. Yes, love it.
For the past month on this series, The Special Private Investigator, I've been trying to find a winner of Takeshi's Castle, and this guy is a winner of Takeshi's Castle. Bloody did it. But how did I do it? How did I find a needle of a man in a haystack the size of Japan? And how did I conduct the first ever interview of a Takeshi's Castle winner outside of Japan? I will get to that, but first I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I want to make sure we're all here. Takeshi's Castle was a game show in Japan in the 1980s, and it was notoriously really difficult to win. In the hundreds of episodes they filmed, they only had winners in 8 episodes. And this show became a cult sensation across the world. It was shown in the UK, where I grew up, and little Max loved to get his chair, eat his mini cheddars, and watch Japanese college students hurt himself. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes of this series, I'd recommend you watch them now, because as of today is the day I tell you exactly how I found a winner of Takeshi's Castle. So, Chapter 1, Research. I started out trying to find out as much as I could about this show. Knowledge equals power. And I found out that the British dubbed version that I watched had been cut down from the original Japanese version. The original Japanese show had a runtime of 45 minutes, but for the British dubbing of the show, they only had a half-an-hour slot. So to start my research, I wanted to know whether there was any useful nuggets of information in the 15 minutes that they cut. This proved to be a very smart move, as after I'd watched the full version of the original, I realised that they used to include the names, ages and occupations of all the winners. It's quite helpful when you're trying to find a winner. Knowing that they now give out the names, ages and occupations of all the winners, I then went out and watched every Takeshi's Castle episode that had a winner in it, and then I curated a list. It was at this point that I realised that I was slightly in over my head, and I need someone who could speak Japanese and who knew a lot about Takeshi's Castle. Enter Josh Murphy. I found out about Josh after doing some interviews with old contestants and old people who ran the show, and they all said that he was the guy to talk to.
Josh Murphy has done some phenomenal research. He found me.
So from now on, when I talk about the work that we did, I mean myself and Josh. Mainly Josh. We curated a list of all the winners of the show, but once we had that, it didn't really help us, because all we had was the names, ages and occupations of people 35 years ago. The other problem was that most of these names were pretty common, the Japanese version of, let's say, just like Joe Smith. So we didn't really have any idea where to go until we got a lead. I had been warned by Josh that in Japan, going about and boasting and telling people that you'd won Takeshi's Castle wasn't really the done thing. So finding someone A would be difficult, but B, finding someone who'd be willing to chat would be really tricky. Then Josh found something pretty good. Josh then found a video of a local news segment from probably the late 80s of a guy who had bought a car with the money that he'd won from Takeshi's Castle. It then had a little inscription on the side of the car that said something like, "I bought this car with the winnings from Takeshi's Castle." This showed that this man was quite proud about winning Takeshi's Castle and was willing to do media surrounding the fact that he won the game show. Whether he's willing to do media 35 years later, that's a different story. But it showed us that this guy was keen to chat about the fact that he'd won. We cross-referenced his name, Toru, with the Excel spreadsheet that we had of the winners, and there was a match for a guy called Toru Hatanaka. I'm probably saying that awfully wrong. I'm really sorry. Bully me in the comments if you like, but I'm trying my best. He was called Toru Hatanaka. Our research said that he was 28 when he won the 99th episode of Takeshi's Castle, and that he worked in a restaurant. With that name, we then trawled through all social media platforms that we could think of, hoping beyond hope that a now, 59-year-old would have a social media profile. Then, Josh called me for a chat.
I can. Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well. What can you tell me?
I went through all of the names I had. I did send out a few messages. I did look to try to find you a winner, and I got you a winner.
No.
Ah, the old being all despondent and then whacking out that I found you a winner card. Ah, Josh, oldest trick in the book.
You're joking me.
No, I am not joking you.
Who's prepared to talk?
So, about that. So after I say this long thing in Japanese, he says, it's okay. It's okay. He says, it's okay, exclamation mark, what is it you want to ask about? And I said, you know, do you want me to speak in Japanese? He says, yes, so I can understand better. So I asked him, do you want to be interviewed for a YouTube video about being on Takeshi's Castle? He says, yes, but I don't. He says, yes, but I don't know if I can get a video. I don't know if I have a working video camera so that we can do chat to chat. I have your winner. If your question is, can I find you a winner? I have got you a winner.
Josh, standing ovations all around, buddy.
So this man that Josh had found was Toru Hatanaka, the winner of the 99th episode of Takeshi's Castle, and the guy who bought a car with his 1 million yen winnings from the show. With the name Toru Hatanaka, Josh had gone through hundreds of social media profiles. Then Josh stumbled upon one particular profile that kind of piqued his interest. The profile picture was from a really old Japanese show that in his about, he said that he graduated from university in 1982, which would have made him exactly the right age. And also in his about section, he said, I've won Takeshi's Castle. I think this is our guy. With our winner prepared to have an interview, I gave Scott a call, a guy who I'd interviewed in a previous video who'd been on the show. He's fluent in both English and Japanese, so he would be our translator. And then we just set up a time that would all work for myself, Josh, Toru, and Scott.
Here we go. I've put on some clothes worthy of the occasion.
Does it say he's greeting?
Hey!
I was wearing my finest garms, and despite so many technical difficulties, I managed to find out which games he was in and what happened to the car.
20年の10年のって壊れました。で、新しいまたニューパジェロ I bought. で、now I do this. ジブラルタル海峡 7 and 5 for 一クリアな。Usually many people get that, but I am lucky old woman.
With technical difficulties going through the roof with apps crashing left, right and rhubarb, I just wanted to do one thing with Toru. Someone who very much embodied a hero for younger Max. I wanted to do the chant that they would do whenever they would win the show.
Say no. Hey, hey, oh! Yes, lads. Yes, love it. Awesome. Toru, Josh, Scott, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and you have made my childhood dreams come true. What a guy.
And with that, another case closed. Thank you so much to everyone who got involved. Thank you to Josh Murphy. Thank you to Scott Tricky. Josh has got another side quest for you in the description below. Josh is desperately trying to find out the names of different pieces of music that were used in Takeshi's Castle, so I've linked them to below. If you know any of them, just contact Josh. All of his contacts information is below. But again, thank you very much, and on with the next case.